What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Boosted Jaden YouTube channel. Today I'm going to give you a garage update, and I'm also going to show you my new pride and joy. We all know 11 months ago I sold TM Swift. It was probably a very rash decision. I done it mainly because I couldn't go through the mental part of getting it road legal. I didn't agree with certs and the forms of getting a car road legal that's that modified. I sold the car. I sold my baby girl. That left a huge hole in my life where even the YouTube channel suffered because I got my older vehicles and I couldn't work out what really to do with them. And as I done stuff, it's like, okay, well I can get on with this quicker if I don't film it. Things fell apart for me when TM left me. My baby girl left home. I didn't cope with it very well. In fact, I buried my head in the sand for quite a huge part of the time that it was gone. A couple of weeks ago, the new owner, Wayne Toms, actually got in touch with me and asked me if I wanted to see her. And at first I didn't want to see her because I didn't want things to go back to the way that they were before and look at it and see nothing but bad memories. But once I spoke to him and realised that she is my baby girl, well, I had to go and see her, didn't I? Well, we all know what happened next, don't we? Of course I got my usual, oh my god, I love the car, blah blah blah. But it was more than that. I actually fell in love. I found my spark. I found my baby girl. And I had to bring her home. So yes, I have purchased TM Swift back, and she'll be returning back to this YouTube channel. Fully road legal, a fully completed car. There's a few little things that we need to do, which we can go over when we look over the car. But for the most part, she's a ready to go car. I'm actually so proud. And this time, I promise you, I won't let her go so easily. Let's have a look at my fleet of vehicles. We'll start with my Nissan G60 1975 tow truck. This one is a project, rego on hold, and this one is the one that needs the most amount of work out of anything that I have. I've actually just finished redoing all the brakes on it, but I'm actually stuck on the bit where I'm trying to bleed everything up properly. The fronts work, but I can't get the rears at all to work. And I'm not 100% too sure. This was my setup, so I had my bottle, and it went straight into there, and I'd pump it, and I'd have somebody else do it, and I'd play around with it, and I could never work it out, so I stopped trying for a little bit. And the interior, I mean, this is, oh gosh. This one actually still needs a little bit of work. Got to, feed the top line in properly, secure it all. A little bit of filling to do in the corner here. The seat's actually in really good condition. I put the seat cover on to try and protect the seat a little bit, but they'll be original reused. Steering wheel, that's actually in good condition. Tight steering on it. It actually does run now. When I first moved to this property, it didn't actually run. What had happened is the carburetor would start overfueling, and of course fuel would piss out the sides of it and overflow onto the hot exhaust manifold, flooding the engine completely, and even after days of sitting it wouldn't unflood. So what I did was I brought a carburetor kit, and I thought right from the get-go that the valve on here would be a problem because, if it's letting in too much fuel and not closing properly, well, it might be just right off the bat letting too much fuel into the system. I tried adjusting the float, but it did absolutely nothing. Once the kit actually arrived and I replaced that valve that I'm telling you about, it actually ran fine. It just does what it's supposed to do, doesn't overfuel, runs, but now it doesn't let enough fuel in, so I've actually got to adjust the float up a little bit. so that she gets plenty of fuel into her, at least half a carburetor. I think it only gets less than a quarter at the moment, but it runs, and that's what's important. I've done a few mechanical repairs to it, you know, mainly cooling system, thermostat gaskets, hoses, clamps, whatever. The ignition, this has had all new plugs put in it, all new leads, distributor cap, rotor, condenser, points. I didn't do the coil because the three of them that I had, it seemed to run the same on all of them, so they must be okay. I've done an oil change since I've had it. I replaced the voltage regulator, but that's another problem because when it's plugged in, the vehicle doesn't turn off by itself. You actually have to come to the alternator and yank this cable out of the back to actually get the vehicle to turn off. I'm not 100% sure what the deal is with that, but it's only when this is plugged in. I know what a lot of people have said online about how sometimes they have built-in regulators, and of course the external one can cause the issue. I'm not thinking so with this because I've tested the voltage with it plugged in and versus not plugged in, and it's not charging at all when it's unplugged. When this is plugged in, it's perfect, 14.2 volts, 14.3. So I'm not too sure. So something to investigate. I replaced all the fuses. It's only got, surprisingly, one fuse box, which is right here. So the fuses sit in behind here, and they're all like little glass ones. And they just sit on a block. I mean, I thought I could try cleaning it up a bit more and see if it made any difference, but I'm not 100% clued up on older cars. I thought, in all honesty, that they were a bit more simple. Brakes, I mean, they're all drums. I've replaced the shoes and all the cylinders, replaced the master cylinder, I've done the clutch cylinder, I've done the one by the gearbox, slave cylinder. I actually replaced the line as well because I threaded the nut so badly when I was removing the old one. Lots of body work to do. The rear brakes, I can't even get them to do anything. I can't get pressure there, so that's another issue to look at. LPG, I'm not 100% too sure what to do about that yet, but I'll probably have the whole system removed. I'm not going to keep this as a tow truck. I'm actually going to make it into a flat deck, and it's going to have high sides like my MQ Patrol, and then it will have the spare wheel hanging off the side here. I cut the that one's got like the bars around the windows, but I actually cut them off this one because they looked awful. All the lines up here, all of this has been redone, smoothed. None of this was even here originally. There's a big metal hole here which we welded and filled over. This is all a bit of a work in progress, but it's coming together. Not a lot going on in the interior. Just filling, sanding. I've got all the bits. Most of the accessories are in good condition. We can go over the rest of this one in another video, but I'm not too sure exactly the time frame on this one, but I'm working on it here and there and everywhere. This one is my MQ Patrol 1984 running the 3.3 diesel. This one has actually been in my family most of its life, which makes it very sentimental to me. For that reason alone, I actually purchased it. It's got the original black plates, not remakes. It's never fallen out the system. It's got the thickest radiator one of the biggest ones I've ever seen. Everything works. It's got aftermarket air conditioning. It's got dual batteries, so 24 volt. It's only got like 200,000 something genuine Ks on it. It's got really good tyres on it. Nice set of steelies. Freewheeling hubs. It's got WAF until March, so I have to get that updated shortly. It's got really high tray sides on it, so the flat deck starts down here and then you go all the way up here. That's about double the standard tray size. You fill it up under here. Underneath it, it's quite hard to see actually. I'll see if I can get some light on the situation. But it does have quite a big diff on it. Quite big leaf springs. I was actually quite impressed by the vehicle. It used to carry about 3 tons on it. And it should do for the size of the diff and everything else. And it just runs really good. It was actually quite high tech when this one came out, because it was the single cab with the 5-speed manual rather than the 4. So it was one of the first ones. And it's actually got one of the tightest gearboxes I've ever come across. Like, there's absolutely no play in anything, eh? A little bit, but not like modern cars get. There's my switch for my aircon. This one needs a little bit of work, a little bit of rust sealing to do under the dash before the next waff, but the guy didn't seem too concerned. Nissan, so it's all original. The dash, so surprisingly, oh yes, the 217 on it, genuine case. My uncle that's owned it pretty much its whole life, he wouldn't have tampered with it. You get a battery gauge, you get a oil pressure I think gauge, temperature gauge for your coolant, and of course the fuel gauge. You even get a rev counter in this one, which is quite cool. And this one, it's like driving a monster truck down the street. I absolutely love it. But I have plans. I want to redo the seats. I want to get them all re-vinyled, get the foam and springs done, make them really comfortable again. And of course the passenger ones, you know, it's just splitting all over the place. Maybe replace the gear knob too, just because it has seen better days. And then of course 4-wheel drive. But again, quite a good truck. It actually runs and drives really well, this one. I haven't started it for a little bit, but I know it'll run. It always does. It does what it's meant to do. It's got the big bull bar on the front. Like, it ain't clowning around. I wouldn't actually want to hit anything in it for the same reason that yeah, this thing will write cars off. Especially when you see how thick the metal is on the back of it. See that it's hard to see. I'll see if I can zoom it in. It's quite a, you know, decent piece of metal. And then in general, it's just really good, heavy duty, well built, rugged dependability, I suppose. And it's not in too bad a condition. Doesn't really need a lot. But that one's fully road legal, serviced. I can actually start it up and take it out on the public roads. This one, this is actually what we're calling Tom Wilson's old ute. This one came to me, it was actually dirt cheap. It was only a little over $1,000 to purchase. It's double cab, 2.4 petrol, 5-speed manual. It's not too awful on the inside. I've cleaned the dash up quite a bit to make it quite a bit more tidy. All original. It's only had a few owners before. This one's got over 400,000 on it. Runs and drives really well, which surprised me. And apparently it doesn't need too much work. Like, the driver's door's fallen a little bit, so when you lift it up, I think this pin here, the bush has gone in it, but you buy them as a king pin kit or something like that. All the lights work, tyres are good, brakes are good. I've got that funny mat on the top there, because when I work outside on it, there's something to, so I'm not sitting on concrete. It's got a little bit of rust in the tray here. Surprisingly not a waff issue, because it's the tray, it's not the cab. But I'll fix it anyways. The rear of it, it's actually a bit of a shed, if I'm honest with you. On the window you can see here what the problem is. Right rear door, rust and seal. Left rear door, rust and seal up. So down the bottom here, it's already been treated. Just need to put a little bit of paint on it. Or seal it up. I'll do something with it. The driver's door hinge pin. Clean the interior, and then this window. I think this washer isn't working. It doesn't shoot water. I'm not 100% too sure. Might be blocked or something. Exhaust leak. Not too sure about that one. Bit of rust in the pillar, which I could never actually find. Like, it looks pretty good to me. I think the console's a bit loose, but very minor things. And then this one can get a warrant of fitness, probably a nice cheap set of Steelies to give it a better look, and then we'll probably look at selling it, I think. But good strong runner at least. Don't get me wrong though, it does look really funny to look at, the Tom Wilson's ute, but I tell you what, when it comes to running, it came with 3 keys, 2 of them original, 1 of them would be a cut. It's the one car on my property that's actually easy to start. I'll show you. The steering's all locked up. Give me a second. Okay, put the ignition round, the lights come on. And then I just do 1 tap down there, and straight away, first start, no issues. Normally it would rev up, but I tap the accelerator too many times. But she runs, she drives, she just doesn't have waff and rego. But plans to get it, of course, in the very near future. And then this will be one of the boosted Jayden quick flips. The engine on the back, that's actually from the Swamp Monster. That bar sticking out there, that's actually the steering column for the G60. It actually came off the Swamp Monster, but I kept it as a spare in case, because it had really tight steering as well. And then, well, there's my engine crane. So you could say the Tom Wilson one is useful as a shed. And then in here, well, this is my parts room. So on top of having parts littered around the whole room, I've actually got a full set of glass for a Nissan Patrol. I've got sets of suspension for the Swift, drive shafts, pretty much one of everything. And then all these boxes came back with the Swift, they're packed. Swift, the cage, the mirrors. I've got 3 boxes of stuff here. Some braces, another one, another little box down there. There's a lot to go through. Guards, that's the bar for the front of the MQ Patrol, which I never had put on. Those are the bars for the tow truck, the other ones. That's the top part that connects at the A-frame. So, good little addition to my house. Plus I've got a bathroom in there if I need it. Electricity. I've got water in the sink in the corner. And then, wow, over here we have my baby girl. She actually looks really good. Much the same as what she did when I had it. We'll go over it properly in another video, but to the eye, she actually looks really good. This here, I never got to show you this on camera, but this was one of the last mods that I had done. That's the TM Sqaure spoiler. It was actually stolen from the car when it was in transit to New Zealand, and it arrived with only the brackets, while the spoiler actually got brought by the original owner, Alex, and then he sold it to me. It actually looks really good, and you can adjust it. So there's an adjust thing here, and you can actually tilt it down more, but I kept it right up because I thought it looked really cool. Of course, those flare sides, all the mods are on it. She's fully road legal. It's just something I had never done for it. So it's got a WAF on it, and it's got a registration. So she's actually road legal, and very soon I'll actually take her for an updated WAF because it's almost due. Oh, look at how good it looks. All the carbon, the grille have been meshed, and then the inside, wow, this is wow. It even smells just like it did when I had it. Very special. I think the only thing it's not legal to have is the steering wheel, so that has to be swapped back to the factory, and I have to swap the mirrors. But that's easy. As she is absolutely mint. Oh, I've missed it, eh? My baby girl. All my gauges, my cameras that I'd put up in there, aftermarket light. Like, this car had everything. It's got the roof bar, and he gave me all the bits back with it. The red seat belts. We've got the Recaro seat belt straps right there. These have been added on. That's the carbon when you first get into the car. It looks really good. Those metal floors. Short shifter. It's actually a real cool shifter. And then all kinds of just little things going on in there. There's boxes of stuff to go through yet, but everything that I sold with the car has come back to me. I'll actually see if she starts, just like she always did. Of course she did. And the only light on is the airbag light, but we know why that's on, because it's got an aftermarket steering wheel on it. It does need some work done to it, but I'm not going to drop it in this video. We're going to do an updated video, and we'll go around the whole car and we'll see what needs to be done to actually get it perfect for us. But the people that I sold it to, TMT Racing, the Tom's family, wow, I haven't even got words to describe how grateful and thankful I am for the car and everything they done for her. And to wrap it all that up, my baby girl has come home to me. Oh, she's just beautiful. The gauges in the middle there. What was cool about the car is that this one had everything. The dark tints. I'm actually going to put the aircon on for a minute because it's so hot in here. We'll see if it can cool it down a little bit. She got some nice rear end. Beautiful sounding exhaust. It's got the sub. It's actually much the same as how I got rid of it. The back window's been changed, the stickers have been, I actually probably like it more like that, taken away a bit more of what it didn't need. one. She's got all of her brakes still on her. Oh, she's stunning. That Monster Sport entry. It's even still got the flare in it. Love it. I haven't actually had a look under this at all since I've had it that. Oh yeah, it's still got the blue brace. Of course, it's got everything I sold with it. Those guards. Oh, they look so good. She just looks perfect. She glows in the sun. I'll get the bonnet up. And much the same under here as well. It's all there how I sold it. This is new. They've painted the rocket cover to match the colour of the car. I actually think it looks really good. They've also remade the downpipe. So it's got the bigger downpipe in it. We'll do a dedicated video on what's changed and what's new since I got rid of the car, but so you can see, here she is, she's back. And she's returning to the channel. Well, there we have it. That's my garage and where I'm at. I've got 2 road legal vehicles, TM included, and I've got my one project, and I've got my doer-upper and cellar. That's sort of where I'm going with the channel. Of course I'm going to push more of the Swift because that's where my passion and my viewers lie. All I can say is we've done it. I've done it. I'm bringing TM Swift back to the channel. If you're as excited as I am about TM returning to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Let me know that you're excited as well. Also drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the time that it's been since the car's gone and come back. And follow me on Instagram. I post a lot more there sooner than what I do on YouTube. I always have. And I'll try and get on to making videos a little bit more regular. I've got a little bit of time off coming up, and I'm planning to spend the whole lot with my baby girl. Thank you for watching. I'll see you shortly.